This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. A busy weekend for the Royal Bahamas Police Force here in the capital. Police have launched investigations into 3 homicides, all of which occurred on Sunday. The latest homicide, a tragic shooting incident on Theodore Lane off Tonic Williams Darling Highway that leaves 1 man dead, according to police. The incident occurred around 11 o'clock last night. Assistant Superintendent of Police Audley Peters was on the scene to give reporters more details.
The first responders, on their arrival, they met a male lying on the ground in a pool of blood. An inspection of the body revealed wounds consistent with gunshots. EMS visited the scene and pronounced that male lifeless. The particulars of this incident are somewhat sketchy. However, our officers are canvassing the area, and we appeal to anyone who may have information with respect to this incident to kindly contact the police department at 502-9991.
There's no evidence to suggest this incident is gang-related or drug-related, according to ASP Peters, nor does it appear to be a retaliation. However, he says that evidence is leading them in a direction that it may have them closing this particular case very soon, as police have a male in custody who is assisting with their investigation. Now, in a separate incident which occurred an hour before, shortly after 10 p.m., a male was stabbed to death on the junction of Cordo Avenue and Lincoln Boulevard.
However, the victim was taken to the hospital in a private vehicle where he later succumbed to his injuries. What we can say in that incident is that we have a male in custody who is assisting with the investigation into that matter. Again, we want to appeal to the members of the public who know of individuals brandishing firearms in their communities to contact the police and inform us. We're aware of a number of persons who have been giving us the information. We've been acting on it, and those persons who were arrested with those firearms are now before the court and awaiting their day for justice. There are social costs, there are cultural costs, and there are personal costs to this scourge of homicide in our communities.
Now, prior to the 2 late-night killings, sometime around 1:30 p.m. Sunday, police received reports of a shooting on Faith Avenue South off of Carmichael Road, just opposite the Anatole Rogers School. Officers responded and on arrival met the body of a male lying on the ground outside a tire repair shop with gunshot wounds to his head. Emergency medical services were called and pronounced the victim lifeless. Initial investigations revealed that the victim was at his place of employment when he was approached by a male armed with a firearm who shot him before fleeing the scene in a small vehicle. ASP Peters continued to encourage the public to be courageous, to come forward to report individuals with firearms to the police to help them make our communities safer. In our national COVID-19 update, some 239 new COVID-19 cases confirmed in country over the weekend. The bulk of the new infections confirmed on New Providence on Friday. Health officials reported 102 cases, 70 on Saturday, and 67 cases on Sunday, September 26. A breakdown of the cases indicating that 200 cases were confirmed on New Providence, 6 with a history of travel within 14 days, 25 on Eleuthera, 7 on Grand Bahama, 3 on Andros, 3 on Inagua, and 1 case with the location pending. In its latest update on Saturday, health officials reclassified 1 case, advising that through contact tracing efforts, a COVID-19 confirmed case previously reported from Acklands has been reclassified as a COVID-19 confirmed case originating from New Providence. Total cases in country now at 20,842, active cases at 1,844, with 142 of them in hospital, 17 battling the virus in intensive care, 125 considered moderately ill. The Ministry of Health also reporting 1 unfortunate death, an 81-year-old male resident of New Providence who died on September 7th. His death pushes the country's total COVID-19 deaths to 523. Currently, there's 11 additional deaths under investigation, that category now at 43. Now, 56 people were reported recovered on Friday. No recoveries reported on Saturday or Sunday. Total recoveries are now at 18,321. Those who are hit hardest by the impact of climate change are the least responsible. These are the words of Prime Minister Philip Davis addressing world leaders at the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, New York. This past Saturday, the Prime Minister says the Bahamas stands with CARICOM countries and small island developing states to remind the world of this truth, citing a recent intergovernmental panel on climate change report, which warned that avoiding the worst outcomes requires immediate actions. Mr. Davis labeled this situation as a code red moment.
Our countries disproportionately bear the burden of the recovery trap, in which we attempt to rebuild to the tune of billions. Billions we never had, even before COVID. Colleagues, in a few short weeks, we will meet in Glasgow, Scotland. The 26th Climate Change Conference cannot be like the 25th, the 25 that preceded it. We cannot pretend that incremental change is sufficient. We cannot set goals we have no intention of meeting. We cannot keep postponing the change we need for countries like mine to survive. If we are the serious leaders these times require, we must raise our ambitions and make real commitments to cut emissions.
The Prime Minister adds that the global community must make real progress in bridging the divides in investment and access to technology and skills, especially in areas relevant to climate mitigation and adaptation.
We must give teeth and substance to the mechanism for loss and damage if it is to be a meaningful tool for supporting fair recovery and not simply an exercise in defining and highlighting disaster risk. Along with our sister nations in CARICOM, the Bahamas calls for greater climate financing and a need for more engagement and progress on a climate investment platform. And as a matter of priority, more innovative financing and debt solutions are needed, including debt for climate adaptation swaps. We also look forward to the capitalization of a Caribbean Resilience Fund. We also need adequate resourcing and timely access to the Green Climate Fund and the Climate Finance Accelerator.
On the campaign trail, the Progressive Liberal Party promised to seek support from the UN and international bodies for climate justice, which is outlined in the party's Blueprint for Change plan. The party also says it plans to strengthen and deepen international partnerships to secure the most beneficial commercial relationships in connection with climate change and sustainable development goals, according to that same plan. You're watching Jcn News. Stay with us.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.